What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Gaming with the Broscast, episode 105, the first episode of 2022. Nick, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I might be battling food poisoning right now as my first gift from 2022, but
nice.
I'm trying to push through and ready to talk about our top 10 games of 2021. I know a lot of people already did their top 10s for the year, but we wanted to push it off as long as possible so we could finish some games.
Yeah, it's always nice to have that little bit of break, just because like most people are on vacation, and to have that extra time to finish anything up. I did not use that time wisely. I just mainly played a shit ton of Halo. So I mean, there's that. But before we jump, we'll jump into kind of what we've been playing, which will some of those games will probably lead into Game of the Year discussions.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about what we've been playing, and then we'll dive into our top 10 list. Nick, I know we did last year. We kind of did our own list, and then we came together and tried to figure out a tier or like combine our list essentially and kind of knock stuff out. Do you want to do that this year, or do you want to just do our top 10 list, like kind of like we did the top 25?
We can probably do our top or our separate ones.
Okay, cool. I've got a separate notepad set out for that just in case, because I figured that would be the case. So we'll start with our 10 and then
keep it cordial.
Keep it cordial, all that good stuff. And then Nick, if you have any, I've got a couple of games I want to shout out for stuff like remakes and stuff that we're not considering. Stuff like just some remakes that came out this year that you may necessarily want to mention, or stuff like that. So or games that that aren't going to make it on your top 10, and you want to just have a nice shout out to it.
I got a couple of games on here that I want to give some notice to.
Cool. But before we dive into all of that, Nick, we have not technically recorded a podcast in 2 weeks. We did have our Halo Infinite spoiler cast. So if you guys have finished that Halo, please go watch that or listen to that. It's about 20 minutes.
It's pretty short.
It's pretty short. So go check that out if you finished the campaign. We talk about kind of the things we liked, disliked, all that good stuff. But Nick, how was your long break from the podcast, and then your Christmas break?
Oh, it was kind of nice. I played a lot of video games, of course. Played through some older games that I haven't gotten around to, or new games that I got for Christmas from Santa Claus. Went down to Asheville and had a bit of a spa day. Got a massage and went to this really nice spa for a little bit. But it was a nice relaxing week, and then of course went over to a friend's house for New Year's and partied it up with them. Luckily, no one is sick from that, so looking good so far.
Wait.
But yeah, it's been a good week. It's been weird because I worked 2 days last week, but like no one was in the office, or no one was really working. Everyone was taking time off, so I didn't do too much, but had some downtime to play a little bit of Halo during work, which is
it's always fun. Yeah. Always a good time playing Halo.
But how was your week? How was your week off?
It was good. I took a full week off of work, which in hindsight, I think next year I'm going to plan it a little bit better because Christmas fell on a Saturday this year. So I essentially had a day to kind of clean up and mess around with my new stuff, mess around with the kids stuff. So I think next year I'm definitely going to try to, so I have the week after Christmas off, maybe going into New Year's.
A lot of people do that.
But that being said, I mean, after Christmas, I worked a full work week, and I had Monday off. I had today off. So not too bad.
Nice.
New Year's was good. Just hung out at the house, made some ribs and
some
nachos and stuff. And we set our projector up in our kitchen and watched like various whatever outlets doing ball drop and all that good stuff. And then Sunday just kind of relaxed really. And then last night, because North Carolina is what it is, and it was 70 on Sunday, it dropped down to like 45 overnight and had just the craziest like windstorm, thunderstorm. It was kind of
we
wild.
lost power for about 4 hours.
Yeah, we had a lot of neighbors or surrounding neighborhoods lose power. We were fortunate enough not to lose power, but I did wake up and our canopy was like completely blown over, and it's drilled into our deck, so it was pretty much ruined. And it was already, I mean, it was 3 or 4 years old, so it was already kind of on its last legs. Like some of the poles were starting to pop out and getting rusty, so it was time. But yeah, just waking up, and then also it was super cold and snowing for like 3 hours today, so that was cool because we got to,
super weird.
Yeah, we got to build the tiniest of snowmen on our deck, and then like 2 hours later the snow was completely gone. But so yeah, that was kind of weird, but North Carolina is what it is.
It snowed pretty hard here, but none of it stuck. Like it was coming down. Like if it would have been, just a few degrees colder, a little bit drier, I think it would have stuck. But yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, going from 70 degrees on Saturday, I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt skateboarding to today with the freaking snow. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. I hope it snows at least one more time. That way we can get a decent snowing, and then I'm good. But
I love that white stuff, man.
Yeah. It's always fun times.
Yeah.
But yeah, just woke up really early this morning, did all that, and then I did a YouTube video for I did like a top ranking of
you did that this morning?
Yeah, the Halo maps. Yeah. And then I also recorded an updated weapons because I found that I liked some of the weapons that I did not like in my previous ranking video. I'm talking about Halo Infinite, by the way. So I recorded another one that I'll probably upload that at some point tomorrow. Yeah.
What guns changed around?
So the Mauler was the only one I forgot to switch around, and I think I had that rated as like a C weapon. I definitely think it's like a D and A. That thing goes hard.
That thing is lethal.
I upped the Commando a little bit because I figured out kind of how to use it, and started doing really well with that gun. I think I lowered the Ravager. I think I brought it down to like a C to D, or maybe C to F. I don't know. I think that
dude, I don't like the Ravager. I think
it's only really good in like CTF or Oddball, where you can kind of do like some splash damage and kind of keep enemies away. But other than that, it's kind of bad.
It's almost like a plasma pistol where it's specifically used to drain the enemy's health.
Yeah.
And then you finish them off with your secondary. Like, I've gotten like 10 kills with it, maybe.
I may have that. And then Pulse Carbine is still like
still just a garbage tier weapon.
Yeah. It's funny, you texted me when I posted that TikTok video of like me getting like rare 2 kills with it. You're like, how the heck did you get 2 kills?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I can literally unload into somebody.
Yeah.
And their shield is gone for what feels like 5 seconds, and I'm just unloading into them the whole time. They don't die. So I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. I hate that gun. I hate spawning with it in Fiesta.
Yeah, it's pretty much like long range only.
But even then, it's still
weird. Yeah, it's still like not a great weapon.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a couple of weapons I shifted around. But that was fun to record. But other than that, it was a great week off. I've got like that slight depression of the holidays are over, and now it's just back to
like
monotony.
What's next?
Yeah. So I feel like there's nothing to really look forward to right now. That is always a crummy feeling. But
Memorial Day, E3.
Yeah. I mean,
E3 is right around the corner.
Yeah, a whole 5 or 6 months away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that kind of happens every year. As soon as the holidays are over and everything's said and done, like I took all the lights down and all the Christmas decorations, took the tree out, so it's back to normal around here. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it was a great break.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it really was. I guess we'll kind of jump into games here, but I spent a lot of time playing Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I saw you on Xbox a lot playing that.
Yeah, I saw you on Halo a lot.
Yeah, ton of Halo, dude. So much
Every time
Halo.
I saw you on, I was like kind of tempted to jump onto Halo, but it's like, all right, I want to finish this game before
Gotta
the end of
finish
the
it.
year. And I did.
Nice.
Technically,
Okay.
I finished it January 1st, but that was just the last hour of the
Yeah,
game.
but it
So
came out. It came out in
it did come out.
2020, twenty
Yeah.
twenty one. So counts.
Yeah. So Guardians of the Galaxy, Harrison, I don't know if you've played this. I know you have it,
I
right?
have it. I wanted to play it, but again, Halo was just.
It's gripping its.
I've got some more things to talk about with
claws in
Halo. But yeah, it's absolutely just taken over like my life. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But you tell me about Guardians because I've heard like a lot of great things about it. So
It's almost like just imagine, the Guardians of the Galaxy movies 1 and 2.
yeah,
Imagine that caliber of a story with, what feels like perfect banter between all the characters, between Rocket, Gamora,
yeah,
Star-Lord, Groot. I mean, they all just like bounce off of each other so well. And it's one of those rare games for me personally where even though the combat isn't my favorite part of the game, I am so invested in the game because of the story, because of where it goes, because of, the kind of meta things that it mentions. Like, I think they mentioned the Avengers briefly. They mentioned, Thanos a couple of times, and he's not heavily in the game, but he's, in the game a little bit.
okay.
And I don't think that's a
That's
spoiler.
it's probably a good thing too. Like I was wondering who like the main villain was going to be because if it was Thanos, I thought that might be a little bit too close to. I mean, obviously, Thanos came from comics, all that good stuff, but coming right off the heels of Endgame and stuff. Well, 2019 now, but yeah, probably
like a retread almost.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like I said, the combat wasn't my favorite part. It does really pick up at the end when you have all of these different moves for all of your different teammates, and you can kind of synergize their moves together. And then you have all these different like abilities. Like you have an ice gun, you have a fire gun, electric gun, and then you can kind of grapple enemies towards you by the end.
Okay.
And just kind of using all those together feels really good. While at first it kind of feels pretty one note in nature, like with you just having your little pea shooters, and then each of your team members only have like 1 or 2 abilities to start.
Okay.
But once you get into it, once you like progress probably halfway through the story, it really, really picks up. And it's a really, really cool game where your actions and the conversations you have impacts, and not majorly, but they have impacts later on in the game. So like, let's say you get so and so on your side, they might help you out near the end of the game. And it's really cool, man. I really, really enjoyed my time with it. And I think it was the perfect length. It didn't really overstay its welcome at all. Like, I thought the cadence of it was really good. Yeah, I mean, I recommend this game completely. After like comparing this to a game like the Avengers, it feels like night and day. Like the combat is somewhat similar. I mean, just a whole like third person action game. It's kind of similar, but the story just feels so much richer in Guardians, and it feels a lot more meaningful. And yeah, it's a really great game.
You still never finished Avengers, right? You just fell off. Okay. Yeah. I liked. I mean, the Avengers. I mean, it was just pretty. I ended up liking the story at the very towards the end. Like I mean, I was kind of invested the entire way through, but yeah, the combat wasn't. It was pretty samey, and just fighting the same robots over and over again was pretty boring. So I'm glad this and when the way this thing got announced and then just came out like 2 months later. I feel like a lot of people were, I thought a lot of people are going to fear that it was like Avengers, so I'm glad that it's not.
I think the less hype they had going into it, the better.
Yeah.
It's just like, announce it over the summer, have a release in October, kind of like with Metroid Dread, expectations were relatively low with that game as well. And same for Guardians. And here it is on a bunch of Game of the Year lists.
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, award-winning story.
Award-winning story. And I fully agree with that. I think it's one of the best stories that I've played this year.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I'm a gameplay guy. You know, I prefer, you know, the action over the story, but this game, man, it just pulled me in. I teared up a little bit at one point. You know,
oh man.
Really
So
nice.
is it like when you say like your choices matter, is it kind of like maybe Telltale's kind of choice system where it's like kind of matters but not really that much? It changes a little bit.
I think, and granted, I only played through one time, so I don't know how the other side looks, but I think a lot of it is just helping you in combat. Like for instance, one time I walked into, and this is close to the end of the game, but I walked into this like arena and it had just all of these guys. And I was like, what the hell am I going to do? I'm like, how can I take out all these guys? And then a friend that I helped out earlier showed up and just wiped them all.
Oh, wow.
I was like, okay, cool. I can just move past this part.
I wonder what would be the outcome if that friend you didn't help out. I wonder how that fight would have taken place.
Yeah.
It's always interesting to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, if they just didn't help at all and you just had to take them all out on your own or what. But yeah, like kind of like stuff like that. And then you're kind of just building up relationships with, you know, all of your teammates.
Yeah.
You know, because you guys are bantering while you're, you know, traversing through a level and just having like these kind of random conversations. And some of them are really funny. Like some of them are pretty meaningful, but others are pretty hilarious. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing what you think about it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna jump in. I might try to start it if I can pull myself away from Halo. I'll plan on starting it this week. And going through that. But yeah, I'm glad it's good though.
Yeah,
I've got to play it before
everything comes out.
Yeah,
I mean,
if I don't, I won't.
You've got pretty much until the end of January.
Yeah,
the end of January until things start picking up.
Yeah.
With Arceus.
Yeah, I'm still holding my breath for that one. I'll see. I'm definitely waiting for reviews because.
Oh yeah. And then lastly, so I'm almost done with Spider-Man.
Okay, awesome.
Played like probably 12 hours of it this weekend, and I just got sucked in, man. Like I've never really played a Spider-Man game before.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Oh my God, it's
amazing.
It feels incredible. Like, just it's so fun. It's a really fun game. Like if Guardians of the Galaxy was the story game, this is like the gameplay game where it just feels super, super fun to swing around. I love the combat. I think all the gadgets you have are really cool and kind of help diversify the gameplay. And then of course the story is pretty good too. Like just your relationship with MJ and Norman and Otto. Like I don't know how I missed this game back in 2018, but man, I'm glad I'm playing it now. It's a great game.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Nick, I'm gonna pause for 1 second.
We're back.
There's some stupid technical difficulty. Okay. All right. So we were talking about what?
Spider-Man.
Okay.
Spider-Man. In short, Spider-Man is amazing. And I'm excited to finish it up and jump into Miles Morales.
Yeah, I have not played Miles. I think I'm probably just going to wait for the PS5 to do that. But Spider-Man, just the original, is one of the greatest super
there's
comic
a
book
lot of
movies
stuff
of all time. Yeah, there's so much to do in that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm pumped to finish that up, jump into Miles Morales, or I might take a break and move on to something else or move back to Halo for a bit. But
yeah.
Yeah, man, I feel like I'm fatiguing myself out on Marvel games because I just played Guardians and now I'm into this.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how going from if you were to go straight from Spider-Man to Miles, that may be overdoing it because I don't know how different that really is other than just like
they're both
story.
They're both in New York.
Yeah.
Same setting essentially.
Yep.
Yeah. Harrison, you've been playing anything besides Halo?
I played and finished the Gunk.
Oh,
It is
nice.
very short game. It took me about 4.5 hours to beat. I did it in two playthroughs. But it's a pretty solid game. I think it's kind of average, like a 70 or something on Metacritic, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
I would say that's probably pretty accurate. It feels like an old Xbox 360 game, not necessarily in a bad way, just that kind of. I mean, so just a brief synopsis of the game. It's you're these two females and a worker robot that doesn't really have much personality. He's just there to kind of help you. But you're essentially scavengers, and you're just trying to make ends meet, and you are very, very low on fuel / energy, and you're just looking for some sort of resource that you can sell. And they come across this planet, and there's like a large energy spike, and you check it out, and you eventually find this stuff called. They just immediately call it the Gunk, and it's like this kind of gelatinous goo-like material that can float and also sticks to stuff, and it seems to go towards like this energy source that you start to find. And the basic gameplay is, think Luigi's Mansion. You're sucking up this goo, this gunk, and it's pretty gross looking. And as you suck it up, it's because like when you go into an area with the gunk, it's very kind of grayed out and like very saturated tones. And as you suck up the gunk, the world kind of comes alive. Flowers grow, like large flowers turn into like platforming areas where you can get to higher ground, and vice versa.
Cool.
So it's pretty cool. There's very, very light. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's very light, like action. Like you're not shooting. You're not necessarily. Well, you do get something where you can shoot, but it's not necessarily shooting enemies and stuff. But yeah, mainly it's just very, very kind of light puzzle solving and just sucking up this gunk so you can traverse to different areas that it unlocks once you clear it out. But yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, you're two scavengers, Ronnie, I think is her name, and Beck, and yeah, it's just your relationship over kind of a microphone as you are traveling through the world, and you can go back to a hub base, and it's kind of it's a very, very linear game. There's not much exploration you can do. You can find like different resources, and use your tool to scan different plants and stuff like that. And the more scanning you do, it unlocks the ability to upgrade your arsenal or your utensils and stuff. Whether that's sucking up the gunk faster or having a little bit more health or armor, whatever the case is. So yeah, it's a pretty solid experience. Like I said, it took me 4.5 hours. Did not overstay its welcome at all. It was like the perfect length. Because at the very end, you're like, okay, I'm kind of getting tired of sucking up this gunk, and then it's like, it's over. Done. So yeah, very, very short experience. It's very pretty. Like once you clear out, there's a lot of like very bright plant life and stuff like that, wildlife. So it's a very pretty looking game once you clear out the gunk, and those colors really pop out. I would definitely recommend it. It's not a very hard game.
I have it downloaded.
The voice acting is pretty solid. The facial animation is kind of hit or miss. Like I said, it kind of feels like a 360 game in that aspect. And the one character, Beck, she is kind of annoying. And you could tell that their relationship is a little bit strained based off of kind of living, not paycheck to paycheck, but living very low life. You could tell it's straining, but your character is very adventureful, and she wants to explore and do all this stuff, and she's very okay, we're not finding out what we need to find, let's just leave this planet and move on. So she can be kind of annoying in that regard, but other than that, I mean, I thought the story was it's decent for what it is. You can tell that there's more lore, I guess, out there, but they don't explain really anything. So, and they also don't really explain, like you have like this, essentially like a power glove that you use, but it doesn't really ever explain how it can suck up the gunk, and does it transport it somewhere, or does it just kind of like vaporize it? It doesn't really explain that, but it doesn't really matter. It's a pretty simple story. I don't know if there would be a sequel to this, but for what it is, it's a very nice, just kind of single one and done kind of story.
Kind of a simple game.
Yeah, very simple.
That's kind of what I thought based off of the trailers, but I was kind of holding out hope for a little bit more than just sucking up gunk, because that's really all they showed in the trailers. Yeah,
and that's pretty much what it is. I mean, you're doing like a decent amount of like puzzle solving, but it's really easy. Mainly it's just sucking up the, and then not every area is just gunk, but a lot of it is. And to clear an area with gunk takes 15-20 seconds, so it's not like is this monotonous. It's not like this monotonous kind of like annoyance that you're,
this whole map.
And it's very, like I said, it's very linear. And you do have like, it does like have like a travel fast travel system, so you can always go back to your once you unlock like a beacon, you can always go back to your camp and upgrade stuff. And so I think it's worth checking out on Game Pass for sure.
Okay. Yeah, free on Game Pass.
Yeah. I don't know how much it is outside of Game Pass, but
and this is made by Image and Form. They did the Steam World series. Yeah. Which all of those games are 2D. So this is kind of their first excursion into the 3D world. So
yeah. And the jumping's very, very like floaty kind of jumping. Mm-hmm. It's very forgiving. You fall off a platform, you're right back where you started. So no crazy checkpoints or anything like that. It's a pretty nice experience for the most part. I would definitely recommend it. Yeah.
It might be a good breather game just to play in between other stuff.
Yes. And that's why I decided to start that instead of doing Guardians, because I knew this was a really short experience. I didn't expect it to be this short. But it's if you got Game Pass, check it out for sure.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? Other than that, I've been playing a ton of Halo Infinite. I am finally so we've already complained about the battle pass and all that stuff and the progressive system. I finally hit the point where I am, for 2 weeks in a row now, I've done the weekly challenge.
So you've done all of it.
So I've done all of it. So I think it's every Tuesday is when everything restarts. So by Thursday,
I have one left. I have one challenge left.
Oh gosh. So by Thursday, I had done everything. And I used my XP and stuff like that, double XP to get as much levels as I could. But outside of that, once Thursday hit and I finished everything, I didn't have anything to do. Only thing I could do was do the first like 6 or 7 matches and get like that extra XP that they give you, and then use your double XP that you have on there. But yeah, after that, it's just, you just enjoy the game, right? You still level up, but after, if you play 7 matches, then it's 50 XP after that. And we have until it's hard. And again, it's hard to complain because we have until May to beat the battle pass. So it's not necessarily a rush. I think I'm about to be level 70. I think I'm 69 right now.
Holy crap.
Yeah, dude, I've been playing a ton.
I think I'm like 35.
Yeah. I just, what did I just unlock? I don't know. I completed like the winter contingency event.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I can't remember what I unlocked just now, but I think I'm getting ready to unlock like the superintendent, like AI or whatever.
Okay.
See, I've been blasting through. I know I'm not the only one. I know people have already just completely finished it. So
yeah.
It seems like, and I know like the extra month or so that they're giving us is maybe a little bit too long for one season, but I think just because of the beta and stuff and to get the kinks worked out with everything. So that's where I'm kind of at. I mean, I'm loving it. And again, just the progression system, maybe add one extra daily challenge a day or something. I don't know. Either way, I'm having a blast. So,
I mean, you're still playing it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You're still enjoying yourself, from the moment to moment gameplay.
Yeah.
And that's what really matters. I mean, all the other progression stuff is just kind of icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Halo Infinite, it's fun. It's a fun game.
Yeah. And there's just something about having kitty cat ears. And I
wish I would have bought those, man.
I've got my little cat icon, whatever. And then I've got like my text is like meow, whatever. So I'm all in on the kitty cat stuff. And there's nothing more rewarding than just murdering somebody and then teabagging them with the cat skin. It is hilarious. I've laughed so many times because, like, especially it's like the last kill or something, or some guy was just trolling me and I finished. I killed, like, I'll run, slide over to him, and then just teabag him real quick. It's so much
just
fun.
the subtle disrespect.
The subtle disrespect. It is hilarious. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Halo Infinite. Who would have thought?
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm absolutely loving it. And yeah, I was excited because like just have like the new event or whatever, like the Christmas colors they gave us, was like the I can't remember what it's called, but like the candy cane colors or whatever they gave us was a super cool skin to have. So yeah, so far, like I don't think I've ever bought a skin before in my life, but as soon as I saw those cat ears, I'm like, I've got to jump on it, man.
Gotta get it. I'm a cat man now.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing.
Nice. Well, Harrison, shall we jump into our top 10 games of the year?
I think we shall. Let's do it.
Nice. So I got my list here. I do want to shout out a couple of games that did not make the list.
Okay.
So I want to shout out Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Okay.
I have not played enough of that game yet to put that on the list. I'm only like 15 hours in.
Gotcha.
But that's a great game. Riders Republic, that's another fun Ubisoft kind of action sports game that definitely flew under the radar for a lot of people, and it got that fresh Ubisoft discount from $60 to like $20. I should have waited, but I didn't. And let's see, anything else I want to shout out? Discount. I want to shout out Skyward Sword. That was a pretty good remake, and I enjoyed playing through that.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Little Nightmares 2. I want to shout that one out. That was a really great horror game and a kind of a perfect follow-up to the first one.
Cool.
And then lastly, Blue Fire. It did not make my list, but it was a fun platformer and only slightly infuriating. Yeah. So
you liked that game, and then you had like that one that kind of towards the end where it kind of soured you a little bit. But
yeah, rough times.
I want to shout out Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Great, fantastic kind of remake of or remaster of those first three games. If you have not played Mass Effect at all, and you love RPGs, or even if you don't, because they're pretty light after that first one, they're pretty light RPGs for the most part. It's such a fantastic story. It's a great like space opera. One of the best stories in gaming, I think. Zelda Skyward Sword. That I thought that was such a good remake of a game that I thought I would never like. And again, I mentioned before, the control it takes a while to get used to. It is weird. But it makes sense for what that game was when it was, purely motion control. And then also want to shout out Mario Party Superstars. It is technically a remake of the the original, or a bunch of the classic board games, but I've played a lot of it, so it's super super fun. I did play with Kellen for the first time on Friday, and he had a blast. Nice. Every time I beat him in a mini game, he's like, "You beat me, but Daddy, I still love you." But it was cool because I was able to give him like 2 extra stars at the beginning, as like a little buffer. A little bit. But little buffer. So anytime I win, I'd be like, "Oh, you're still in first place." So he'd be like, "Yeah, I know." So that was cool.
I did play that actually.
Okay.
With Alicia, we played a couple rounds. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Are really good.
Yeah, it's super super fun, and didn't realize how nostalgic I was for those games because I just haven't played much Mario Party. But and then I think that's everything I want to shout out. Shout out the Medium. I did really like the Medium. I think that was like the first, and maybe that's just because like that was the first like Xbox Series X game we played. Really,
Yeah.
That was exclusive for that
It
time
had a
period.
good story.
And yeah, I like the story. If there ever is a sequel, I will be very interested in what Bloober Team does. But yeah, just didn't make my top 10. But
I do have two more shout outs.
Okay.
One of them is Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon. That one I picked up, in December and played through it. And I really love it. I haven't played enough of it for it to get to my top 10.
Okay.
And then of course Mario 3D World. I mean, that was just a really fun expansion to that game.
Yeah.
And I kind of want them to make like a whole game in that vein. But that's it. Those are all my shout outs.
Nick, I don't have the show notes pulled up, but I've got a separate list on the screen here. So I'm just going to, as you say your stuff, I'm going to type it in. That way everybody else can see it on the screen.
Okay.
Do you want, so we'll do the top 10 to 6 first. And do you want to go first for that? And then once we start 5 through 1, whoever goes first now will go first in the latter half.
Works for me, brother.
You want to go first or second?
I'll go first. Okay.
All
right. So my number 10, and this one isn't much of a surprise because I was just gushing about it, but Guardians of the Galaxy.
Nice. Okay.
Look cut for Guardians. Yeah, like I mentioned a little bit ago, this game has a fantastic story, and it just kind of hits that like that grandiose Marvel feeling.
Yeah.
And then the gameplay is pretty good as well. So yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy sitting tight at number 10. I was debating putting it on here, but I think I enjoyed it a little bit more than games like Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon and a few others.
Yeah, type that in before I forget. There we go. All right, my number 10, and again, I know I mentioned before that I just have not played that many new games this year, but I really did like this game. I'm putting Outriders on the list, number 10.
Outriders, wow.
Yeah.
Man, coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, I know that game was not received too well, and it had a lot of issues. I know that demo, like, people loved the crap out of that demo. I spelled Guardians wrong. There we go. And yeah, I know you fell off like pretty hard after that.
I did.
I'm gonna scoot this over real quick, just so I have a little bit extra room. Yeah, I thought it's a, again, it also kind of feels like a Xbox 360 game back in the day. It's like it's a third person shooter with RPG mechanics.
Feels like a Red Faction, or
kind of, yeah. You're doing like side quests. The story is kind of like nonsensical.
Yeah,
it makes no sense. But I do like the fact that, and I think like the developers mentioned like in their top 10 reasons why you should get this game is the like the abilities that you get are so quick. Like there's not a lot of room for them to have to what's that term called?
The cooldown.
The cooldown, yeah. The cooldown is so quick on those on the abilities that it's a lot of fun to being able to use those super quick all the time. So
nice.
That's why I like that a lot. I'm gonna scoot this down real quick so I can see your stuff. Sorry.
Very good. It's hard to get all that on the screen.
Yeah. I think that'll work. Okay. What is your number 9?
This was a game that is a sequel to a game that came out many, many years ago, and a lot of people didn't think it was going to see the light of day.
Okay.
And I played through about 2/3 of the first one, in preparation of the second one, and then just wanted to jump into the second when it came out. That game is Psychonauts 2, which is a really great platformer that when it came out, it was in my top 5. And then as more games came out and as I played more games, it just kind of fell deeper and deeper down the list. I don't think it's as strong as the other games on my list here, but I think it is a great platformer, kind of reminiscent of, like an Xbox or an Xbox 360 game.
Yeah.
And just kind of captures that nostalgic feeling while also feeling fresh and new. And it has some of the coolest environments that I've ever seen in a game, like some of the most creative environments and some of my favorite levels too.
It's a good game.
Yeah. It's a good game.
It's a good game.
All right, what is your number 9?
Number 9, it is, and the only reason why it's number 9, it would probably be a little bit higher, but I'm gonna do Forza Horizons 5 on here.
Oh, nice.
Again, I think it'd be higher if I had played a little bit more, and I do plan on playing some more, but once that Halo multiplayer dropped, I was fresh off of.
It came out too close, man. It was too close.
It did. I'm glad it came out when it did, but it did come out really close because I was pretty into Forza for a second, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, Forza is probably one of the most beautiful games on the Series X. I mean, it just looks absolutely incredible, runs incredibly well. And I guess I played it a little bit more than you because it is my number 8.
Nice. Just roll on into it.
Yeah. Forza Horizon 5. I've really only played Forza Horizon 4. And that was when the Series X came out. It was a pretty good graphical showcase for that game, or for the Series X. But I really, really enjoyed 4, and I think 5's even better. I'm not a big car guy at all. I don't really love cars too much, but I love going fast. And Forza Horizon 5 loves letting you do that. So
yeah, it's so I guess I'm like you, like I'm not really a big car enthusiast and enjoy cars that much, and have not really been a car person, like game wise, ever really. I played a lot of like Burnout Paradise and like Burnout, I think 2 Revenge, but that was mainly because they had like the car crashing mini game. That was fun. So you playing Forza Horizon 4, what was this better for you from 4 that you've played so far, or what made the difference?
I think I like the setting better.
Okay.
I think it's more vibrant, and because I think the other one took place in the UK. Okay. So it kind of has that very like Greenland, very almost gray vibe to it, while five takes place in Mexico, and it's very, very vibrant, very bright. Yeah. And I think I like that a lot better. And then of course the mechanics of the game just feel a lot smoother in 5 than 4. Okay. And yeah, 5 just feels cool to play. It feels really good. Yeah. It really like, it tries to get you to follow like the roads and stuff, but I'm like, nah, I'm going through the through the hills. I will never take the roads. Yeah. Forza 5 is great. All right, let me get my list pulled back up here. So at number 7, I'm going to go, number 8, Little Nightmares 2. Oh, nice. Yeah, I remember you loved this game when we played it, and I did too. I think you were more attached to it. Yeah, I really enjoyed that first one, and that DLC. I played through it on the Switch initially, and then we ended up getting it on the Xbox because we were hungry for another Series X game. But yeah, I really liked it. I mean, mechanically, it didn't do too much different than the first one. There was like the TV warping kind of thing towards like the kind of middle of the game. It was had a little bit of combat too. A little, yeah. Oh yeah, I did have a little bit of combat versus the first one. I thought they just improved on everything that the first one did. And it was still super creepy. I am sad that team is not going to be doing another one. Yeah. That's kind of a bummer, but I guess that's not going to stop. Yeah. Who's
who's the
It's
publisher? Bandai.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm probably not going to stop Bandai for making another one if the other one sold well enough to
I think 2
warrant
sold over 1 million.
Okay, so
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I really like those. Just going through and finding all the creepy boss encounters and kind of them kind of stalking you through the levels. Yeah, it's a really really cool franchise, and I thought 2 was excellent.
Yeah, it definitely improved on the first game. I thought it was much better, and I really liked the first one too.
Yeah.
All right, number 7, lucky number 7.
Number 7.
My number 7 is a PS5 exclusive game. It's one of the only PS5 exclusives that came out this year that I've played, and that is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Oh.
I mean, there's not too much to say about this game. It's a Ratchet and Clank game. It takes advantage of the PS5 hardware. It looks beautiful, runs really well. I thought some of the like teleportation, the Rift stuff was a little bit gimmicky.
Yeah.
Because it felt very on wheels or on rails.
Yeah.
But it did do some like cool kind of world jumping stuff similar to what Psychonauts 2 did, where you would walk through just a gateway and you would pass it into another level essentially. And I feel like Ratchet and Clank did that kind of on another level, which is pretty cool. Yeah, fun game.
Now, was that, you might have said this before, was that your first Ratchet and Clank game?
I had played the 2016 game, but I never finished it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't have much experience with the franchise.
Okay.
But this one's pretty good.
Sweet. My number 7 is, and I still have not finished it, but It Takes Two.
Nice. Fantastic.
Like abbreviate these or something. It keeps wanting to push the other one to the side. There we go. Yeah, It Takes Two. It's a brilliant co-op game, and it's great for kind of, I mean, you play with your fiance, which she's not really a gamer, or plays video games like that. So I think it does a great job of kind of onboarding new players and not like overburdening them with dying all the time, because like it's so forgiving for the most part in that game. Now again, I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know the extent to the latter levels, but yeah, I mean, everything we were Brittany and I were able to do, my wife, we ran through that game, and she had a little bit of trouble here and there, but for the most part, I mean, we just had a good time going through it.
Yeah, it's one of those games that hits on every genre possible, pretty much. And like Alicia had a bit of trouble on the levels where you have to aim more, where you're like almost like aiming a gun.
Yeah.
But everything else she did really well on. And yeah, it's almost a great tool to learn how to play a video game. And
yeah, it really is. Yeah, and it's just so unique, and just it's beautiful. It looks great.
It brings people together.
Yeah, and just all best family game of the year. But just from it, like you said, genre swapping so much, it feels really cool to see what they're going to do. You you look forward to saying, okay, what are we going to do in this area? What's next? What is it?
Because nothing ever stays as welcome. You're not doing one mechanic for too long.
Yep.
Like it's crazy how much they came up with to put into one game.
Yeah. So I'm excited to finish. We'll finish it soon. Keep saying that, but I got to finish
6 months.
But yeah. Number 7 for me. It probably would have ranked higher a little bit maybe if I finished it, but I think it's well enough to stick at number 7 for me.
Yeah.
What is your number 6 before we swap?
Before we swap, my number 6 is Monster Hunter Rise. It was that game, man. It was that game that I just got so into for like a month.
Yeah.
And then after that, didn't play it anymore. I really want to jump back in next year when the expansion comes out. But this game, it nails like the progression system, and then that kind of gameplay loop of going in, taking out these giant monsters, getting some of their materials and whatnot, crafting better weapons, killing better monsters, getting their materials. It just nails that loop. I mean, just like every other Monster Hunter game does, but like this one with the verticality of it all, like you being able to kind of climb around and jump around and all this stuff, it really adds to the game a lot.
There's a grappling hook in this game, right?
Yeah, it's called a wire bug. It's just a little bug that you can use to pull yourself around. But that is a great addition to this game because previous Monster Hunters felt a little bit sluggish, a little bit hard to get around.
Yeah, I think that's my problem with World is I couldn't. I don't know. I should have given it another shot, but I never did. But
it feels like the game is kind of going against you a little bit.
Yeah,
World. Yeah. Rise improves on that for sure.
Okay. So I'm going to put my number 6. Technically a new game. I'm going to do Mario's Bowser's Fury.
Oh, nice.
Let's see, Bowser's. I hate having to abbreviate.
Yeah, Bowser's Fury, man.
Bowser's Fury. Yeah, I mean, I did not pay for the original. It came with my Wii U when I got it, the Mario World. So I didn't feel necessarily buyer's remorse for double dipping onto the Switch version. And I mean, honestly, and I'm kind of surprised. I mean, honestly, Nintendo probably could have charged $60 for Bowser's Fury. I do think it's probably that good. Do I think it's worth $60 at what you're getting and the time, the amount of time it takes to complete it? Probably not. But Nintendo probably could have if they really wanted to. So throwing this as an expansion onto to Mario World, I thought was a great addition. And honestly, it feels like the next step, the next evolution of Mario, because just being able to hold on to all of the power-ups and just having them and be able to switch them on the fly feels so good. Really cool. And then it kind of sucks going back to the main game, not being able to do that. It's kind of a bummer, but yeah, I mean, just being able to ride around on Plessy, going from area to area. It's so much fun just going around in that world and just finding all the cat shines and stuff. So yeah. Whatever they do next, whether it's Odyssey 2 or a Bowser's Fury 2 or something like that, or I don't know, just give me like a $30 Bowser's Fury 2 or something. Yeah. Something like that. So hopefully whatever they learn from that, they'll put in whatever the next Mario is, because I thought that was just such a fantastic addition.
Yeah, I think everyone kind of agreed that was probably one of the better expansions to all of like the remasters that they've done. Yeah. And yeah, it holds up really well. And yeah, it's fun. It's a fun little expansion. Yeah. And it's just kind of like came out in the peak of Kellen just loving Mario. Mm-hmm. So getting that was so much fun. And then the only gripe is after a while, like Bowser coming up out of the water gets kind of annoying because you're just trying to platform and do your stuff. But using like the Bowser amiibo and being able to pull him in immediately to get one of those like blocks or whatever to get the cat shine, that was a nice feature that they added to that for that amiibo. I think I probably haven't used amiibos more than I did from that, and maybe Zelda, Breath of the Wild, because like all the Zelda amiibos would do something. So yeah, Bowser's Fury, pretty great expansion for sure. All right, we are we're on the top 5 games of the year. I guess I'll start it off. Nick, it's something you already mentioned. It is Psychonauts 2. Wow. Yeah. I did not expect that to be so high on your list.
I really, and it's funny because I mean you've played through the first one, and I started to, and it just felt really old because it is a really old game. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop here and just jump into it kind of blind. I'll read a wiki or something if I need to. They did a really great job at the beginning to catch you up. But yeah, it's a great kind of platformer. All the levels were so unique and different. Yeah, just going through that story and figuring out that all these people had like such remorse for what they did. Yeah. It was just an incredible story. I guess the only negative thing I could really say is there were so many cutscenes in the game. Like every time you would get going, every time like you'd see a new character on screen, like they would have like a brief interlude, whether it was 5 to 10 seconds, it just constantly kind of
especially towards the end.
Yeah, it just constantly like took out the momentum. There's just some great levels, like the whole band level, whatever, and you're getting the band back together. It was incredible. Just a lot of memorable levels. And again, if you've got Game Pass and like
give this game a shot.
Yeah, give it a shot. Between the constant kind of breaking up of gameplay, and then I didn't love the way you mapped like the abilities. That got kind of annoying towards the end of constantly having to switch back and forth. I wish they just, I don't know another way they could have done it, but that got kind of annoying. But other than that, great game.
Pretty phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
What is your number 5?
Well, I have a feeling this game's a little bit higher on your list.
Okay.
Maybe not too much, but this was kind of the indie darling of this year in my perspective, and that's Death's Door.
Okay.
This game just kind of took the world by storm when it came out. I just kind of randomly saw someone tweet about it, and it looked really, really good, so I picked it up kind of on a whim. And it's just a great like top-down action game where you just play as a bird and you like I don't even know how to describe it other than you're working a lot with Death's Door. I kind of forgot a lot about the story, but
you're like a crow, and you go in and you have to collect souls, and like the first one you go to collect gets stolen from you, which causes you to not age anymore. It's a very unique game. So many people said it was like Dark Souls. I just never got that vibe.
No, it's not like Dark Souls. It's like Zelda, if anything. And even then,
the only thing remotely related to Dark Souls is the fact that you can go back and you can collect your stuff.
But people take that and they run with it.
Yeah, it's not like
Souls like. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's not difficult. It is difficult, but
it's tough.
So yeah, if you've listened to other podcasts, or I'm not obviously not bashing on anybody, if your opinion's your own, but if you want to say it was a Souls like, then that's fine. But if you've heard people say Souls like,
don't be turned off by that.
Don't be turned off by it. It is a hard game for sure. But yeah, I don't be turned off. It's an excellent Zelda-esque game.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's my number 5.
Nice. Well, you were correct about Death's Door. It is actually my number 4.
Wow.
I
had a feeling.
Yeah, again, it's a fantastic game. I'm just gonna put DD. It's a fantastic game. And even like the post game stuff was so much fun to go through.
Yeah, that was get really all that cool too.
Yeah, it was probably some of the best like post game stuff I've seen in a long time. Going through there, and I had a blast with that game. If they make a sequel, I really hope they do, because it was great.
I'm one achievement away from 100%. I'm sure you are too, where you have to play through the game using the umbrella.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah, I don't think I will.
Yeah. All right, well, yeah. I have a sense of what your top 3 is.
Okay. So
my number 4, this is probably the game we were looking forward to the most this year, or at least in the first half. And that's Resident Evil Village.
Nice.
That's that game, man. It's one of those games where it's just short enough where you want to play through it again the second you beat it.
Yeah.
And with all the unlocks that you get in classic Resident Evil style, getting all those unlocks at the end of the game, having all those points you can spend on getting new weapons and getting new abilities type things. Village just knocked it out of the park. Like even the pieces of the game, even the parts of the game that were a little bit worse, like Mora's Reservoir and kind of the slower sections, like the haunted house that you go through, like even that stuff only lasts like 30 minutes, and then the rest of it's just killing werewolves, going into castles, great boss fights. I mean, it's a really, really great game.
Yeah.
Is it your number 3?
It is my number 3. RE, I'll say RE8. Yes, it is my number 3. It's such a, I mean, just to piggyback what you said, just a fantastic game. I still think 7 is a little bit higher on my list. Even though I think there's obviously more like gunplay in 8. I just think 7 was way scarier.
Which
is what I look forward to most in like a Resident Evil game, but also like just the movement felt really good in this game, more so than 7, and obviously there was just more variety of enemies, so it was just more fun to kind of just, I don't know, just roll through that game, speed run it, all that good stuff. So yeah, classic. What is your number 3?
My number 3 is a game you have in your list. I think it was a little bit lower, but It Takes Two.
Takes Two. Okay.
I mean, we talked about it earlier, but that's like the perfect co-op game, perfect game to introduce someone to gaming with, and plays flawlessly, and it just hits all the genres, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, I know where we're at. I mean,
so
I know. Yeah.
What do you think my number 2 is?
I think your number 2 is Metroid Dread.
You would be absolutely wrong. It's Halo.
Well, that's my number 2. Wow,
So,
really? Halo under something else that we haven't talked about yet?
Yes, who would absolutely know what that is? I think, I mean, the multiplayer I think is the best it's probably ever been. And that's just.
And granted, it needs more maps.
Yeah,
I think it could use more guns, but it plays the best.
Yeah, it feels really good. I mean, I don't know how many maps launched with 5 or Reach or 3. I think it's all been pretty same amount, right? Like 10, 15 maps, maybe. Yeah. We don't have Forge yet, so I mean, there's gonna be a lot more stuff to come with that. That they'll probably add into the queue with like really popular fan-made maps and stuff like that. I think I love the open world that they provided us. I think it's a great sandbox. I'm looking forward to playing it co-op as well. Yeah. I think the story falls a little bit flat with some of those. The missions feel a little bit samey towards the end, like Corridor.
They do, yeah.
I think that it's fine in like the past Halo games, but I feel like that same level design is kind of catching up to it a bit for me.
It shouldn't have existed in the same way.
Yeah.
That it did.
But again, like all the open world stuff, I absolutely love. Like I just love going through that world and grapple shot and everything. Like it was so much fun. And all the little audio logs and stuff you picked up were cool to see, like the little environmental storytelling that's shown. But I think that's why it wasn't Game of the Year for me. It's just the story felt a little flat. And it's hard to say because we know more stuff is going to come. We know they're going to add on to this game as the years go on. So, maybe in 3 or 4 years, this could be like some incredible piece of storytelling that we only got so much. Maybe because of COVID and like their delay they had, or maybe this was the original vision and they just needed more time to complete that original vision. But I'm excited to see what Halo looks like in the years to come.
Yeah. And the only additional thing I'll say, and this is, I think I said this before, but having an open world game where the traversal is fun, just the basic traversal, that's when you've nailed the open world. So like Spider-Man, for instance, that completely nails it with the web swinging. Halo completely nails it with the grappling hook. I mean, that just it amps up everything to 11. It makes traversal more fun. It makes combat encounters more fun. I mean, it just adds so much, not only to the story, not only to the single player, but to the multiplayer as well. I mean, it's crazy how one thing can completely change the fundamentals of a game. And yeah, they nailed it. They nailed it with that.
Yeah, I would be interested to hear like what came first. Was it the open world or was it the grappling hook? Because I don't think the open world exists without the grappling hook. I just don't think that it wouldn't be nearly as fun.
No,
to have to rely on vehicles to get up the terrain and stuff like that,
which are very unpredictable.
Yeah,
when climbing terrain.
Yeah. So that leads to number one, Nick. I'm just gonna go and assume Metroid Dread is your game of the year, as long as myself.
You're correct. Metroid Dread.
Wow, Metroid Dread.
Wow, very well, not unexpected, but it's crazy because you hadn't really played a Metroid game before this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'd only played 2 Metroid games, and then I played Fusion and Super Metroid this year before Dread came out. And here it is sitting at the top of our lists because it just nails every aspect of what a Metroid game should be.
Yeah, and I just think, yeah, exactly. And then just over the past 3 years or so, like I've fallen in love with like the Metroidvania games with Hollow Knight and Ori, and some other stuff prior to that. But this just feels like a really good addition to that genre. I mean, obviously it created the genre, but like the movement feels good. It feels so fluid. The combat feels great. The story is whatever. It is what it is. I mean, it's nothing crazy. But it just feels really good going through that world. I will say there was a couple times where I did get lost going through it the first time. But I mean, I feel like that happens with any kind of Metroidvania game. There's at some point where you kind of get lost. Of course. But yeah, man, just playing that, especially like just playing that on the OLED. Like I never played it once docked. I've only played it ever like handheld. So wow. Yeah, it just felt like that perfect handheld experience. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a great game. Fantastic game. Game of the year.
Game of the year. Well deserved. I mean, after 19 years of not having a 2D Metroid.
Yeah.
And we have this. We have hopefully Metroid Prime 4 coming out next year or sorry, maybe it's coming this year.
God, 2022.
So, Harrison, I have a question for you.
Yep.
Without having played any games from 2022, what do you think your game of the year will be? If Zelda comes out, and everything else kind of falls into place as well.
Man, we got Elden Ring coming out. We've got Zelda potentially.
God of War,
Horizon.
Mario and Rabbids.
I don't
know if that's a game of the year game, but that's so good.
I would probably say, I mean, I don't know if I'll have a PS5 this year or not. I don't know. So I don't know if I'll play. I guess that I know that they're coming out on PS4, but I don't know if that's the experience I want to have. I want to have the best experience for those games. I would probably say it's going to be between Elden Ring and Zelda. I would think.
I would agree.
And it's hard. It's always hard to kind of like you remember. You obviously remember the games at the latter half versus the beginning of the year. That's just kind of the way it is. So hopefully Elden Ring just
hopefully it stays in our minds.
Is what we want it to be and continue. It is absolutely incredible because I'm super excited for it. And but Zelda is also a whole nother beast as well. So it's gonna be tough.
We don't know much about that one either.
Yeah, we don't. I'm still thinking it may be 2023 for Zelda. If that's the case,
yeah,
probably Elden Ring takes it for me, unless I get my hands on like God of War or something.
Well, something else comes out, we don't even know.
Yeah, or something else. I don't know if Horizon will be in. I don't know. I just don't know if it'll be a better one of, just a better version of the original Horizon, which was a great game. But I don't think I would have put that as my game of the year. I'll have to go back and see when that came out, but probably Zelda or Elden Ring.
Zelda or Elden Ring, I agree completely. I think either of those two are God of War, because I'm picking up that game day one.
Oh yeah, God of War. Like I mean that may be the reason why I pick up a PS5. I definitely want to play God of War. The reboot in 2018 was fantastic. So great game. Nick, before we kind of wrap up the show, do you have any gaming resolutions or resolutions beyond gaming that you want to do this year?
I want to play a lot of games, but I also want to appreciate other things as well. Yeah. So I want to find that balance between like wanting to go straight from one game to the next and just enjoying other hobbies that I have, enjoying people in my life, whatnot. So that's kind of my resolution for this year, is not to shoot for, beating 30 games in a year or something like that, but just shoot on enjoying the games that I play more so than just wanting to get through them as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I definitely want to play a lot more like indie games, where it's feasible. There's a couple of games that I missed this year, that I wanted to play, but just kind of never got around to it. So, and then in like personal stuff, I want to start. I got some good running shoes, so I'm gonna definitely want to start picking up running and just living healthier, drinking more water, all that good stuff. And I think that's it. Just try to.
It's our year, man.
Yeah,
it's the people's year. It's the end of the COVID trilogy. 2021 was the second movie where nothing really happened.
Yep.
And the plot didn't move much, but 2022 it's the end, and we're coming out stronger.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I'm ready to. I mean, not that like I don't feel like I can't do anything now. Like I don't really feel that limited, but I'm ready for the world to kind of get back to normal, I guess, for whatever that is.
Same here.
Then we just get on and move on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is going to wrap up the show. Hopefully everyone enjoyed our 2021 game of the year. What a fast year, by the way. It just kind of flew by.
It did. It really did.
So yeah, glad a lot of good stuff. We had a lot of great games come out this year. In a year that we thought a lot would. I mean, stuff got delayed for sure, but
a lot of good stuff came out.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff this year. A lot of stuff to look forward to this year. Like, oh my gosh, this has the potential to be one of the greatest gaming years ever. If Zelda comes out, God of War comes out, we've got Pokemon Arceus around the corner, Elden Ring, Bayonetta 3, maybe Metro Prime 4, like just so much.
It's
so much potential.
Crazy. It is crazy.
Yeah, just looking forward to all the conferences and directs and all that good stuff going forward. But hopefully this will be a great year. Nick, where can the people follow us on Twitter?
They can follow us at Gaming WT Bros on Twitter. You can follow us at Gaming with the Broscast on TikTok.
Yes.
And then if you want to email us any questions, you can email us at gamingwiththebros@yahoo.com.
Then we stream every Monday at 8:30 Eastern time, twitch.tv/gaming with the Broscast. With that being said, hopefully everyone had a great holiday break, had a happy new year, and we'll see you this year.
And we'll see you next week.
Next week.